More boys were starting to jog out from the trees behind us. Great! We could all play together. A sound drifted to my ears from over the top of the hill. People were shouting and cheering. They sounded excited and happy. They should come and run with us. They'd be even happier. A warm breeze brought a scent to my nose. Mona! She was one of the people up ahead. I wanted to be with her. I put on a little extra speed and reached the top of the hill. I looked back to check on Tyler. He was still jogging after me. The boy in the dark shoes had stopped running and started walking. A few of the other boys were doing the same. What a silly thing to do. I looked ahead and saw that we'd run in a big circle and come back to where we'd started. It wasn't nearly as far a run as the ranch. Why hadn't we gone to the ranch? Tyler must have gotten very lost. Oh well. I could hear and see Mona now, as well as smell her. She was at the bottom of the hill, waving and shouting my name and Tyler's. I ran to her, and she dropped to her knees to greet me. Toby, you silly boy, she kept saying. She grabbed hold of my collar. Then Mona looked up. Tyler! Tyler! She shouted, jumping and waving. Tyler was running down the hill now. His stride was wide, and his back was straight. I pulled on the collar so Mona would let me run to him. It was what I was supposed to do. No, Toby, she said, pulling back. I whined impatiently. She didn't understand. I looked up at her, trying to explain it with my eyes. Tyler was running. I was supposed to run with him. Oh, well, Mona said, and let go. Wonderful! I raced after Tyler, barking at him happily, circled around his feet a few times, and jogged with him the rest of the way down the hill. Tyler stopped running and put his hands on his knees and panted and panted. All the people clapped, and there was a lot of yelling. Breathless, he put my leash back on. After a little while, the rest of the boys staggered over the hill and down to where we were waiting, and everybody clapped and yelled some more. I wagged and wagged. All these people seemed very pleased. I must have been a very good dog. After all the clapping and shouting and talking was over, Tyler drank a lot of water from his plastic bottle and poured some more over his head, and Mona poured some from another bottle into her hand for me to lap up. Then Mona pulled on my leash, and we went back to the place where all the cars were parked. One car pulled up and stopped for us to get in. Tyler and Mona sat together in the back seat with me. Patsy was sitting in the front seat. Mona and Tyler were laughing, and both of them talked at the same time. They said my name a lot, and Tyler's too. And Patsy smiled, but she didn't seem as happy. Then she said something back to them, and all their happiness went away, too. Just like that. I was confused and looked from Tyler to Mona. Was something wrong? Had I been a bad dog? I sat in case that was what they wanted. I held up a paw for Tyler to shake. He took it. Good boy, Toby, he said, but his voice still sounded miserable. There they are running. And Mona's holding on to Toby. I did lie still, curled up against Mona. She rubbed my ears. I was beginning to think I hadn't done anything wrong, but it was still hard to understand how all the happiness in that car could change to sadness so quickly. We'll go back now, Patsy said soberly, and she began to drive. When we got back home, I jumped out of the car. Fran was waiting for us at the doorway. Your mom's already in the hospice wing with your grandfather, she said to Tyler. We'll go right there. She looked down at me. The dog's a mess. Mona, take him and get him cleaned up. Tyler bent down and picked me up. He held me and put his face in my fur, and I felt his body relax just a little. It's just a little mud, Patsy said gently. I don't think it matters all that much. Fran looked at Tyler and at me, and for the first time I did not feel like a bad dog around her. Yes, of course, she said gently. You're right. She reached out a hand and stroked my back. Good dog, Toby. Okay, and that's the end of chapter 15.